We are live. Yay. Hello, friends. How are you? Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. How are you feeling today? Are you ready for the live show and to meet Angie Kim with us? Because we are very excited. I will let Laura take the stage here for a moment and they will speak for a little bit better than I do.
Okay, I'm not sure it's a little bit better, but yeah, so hello and welcome everyone, whether you're joining live or watching later. We really appreciate you being here. And yeah, so this is our first month, as I'm sure a lot of you will know, of doing the Sibs Book Club, and we and the Spinner Wheel chose the happiness balls for everyone that's joining that maybe doesn't is new to the book club. There we go, that's the lovely cover. So yeah, so a little bit of background on why this ended up being picked. So the spinner wheel has 3, 6, 9 9 books on it, 3 each for each of us Sibs. Obviously Donna is not on screen with us today, but she will hopefully join us in the comments at some point. She's just not feeling very well, so we're sending lots of good vibes to Donna and feel
Lots
better.
of love.
Yeah. So obviously we've got the youngest Sib, Beatrice,
And we have Laura, the oldest Sib.
And yeah, so we have 3 each books on the spinner wheel, and the spinner wheel then obviously decides what we read. Obviously going forward, people are going to help us in book club pick what gets replaced onto the spinner wheel. So there'll always be 9, but we'll obviously get through all of them at some point. I picked Happiness Falls by Angie Kim because I previously read Miracle Creek by this author and absolutely was obsessed. I really enjoyed a lot of aspects of Angie Kim's writing, and I was hoping that other people would too. So that's a little bit about that. Yeah. Obviously, the Discord link is going to be below if you want to join.
It is, yeah. I still have the description under construction, but in the end I'll try to fill it up. But I guess everyone that's here for now, it's already on the Discord,
Yes,
so you already know everything about it. But let's start this discussion. So what did you end up actually giving Happiness Falls in the end? Because for what I've seen, there's a few hits and I think also an in-betweens. So I think I gave it. Oh well, Laura, you can. I have to check mine. Do you mind going on?
Sure. It probably isn't a surprise to anyone. I gave it 5 stars. I really gel a lot with Angie Kim's writing style, and I love the effort that she goes to.
I forgot one thing. To say hello to everyone that was here. Oh my God, guys,
Yes,
I'm
we
so
did.
sorry. Hello, Rainy. How are you? Good morning. Yeah, it's the morning for you. So how are you? Hello, Kelsey. How are you? Vanessa is also in the comments. Hi, Vanessa. And we have Sparkles also in the comments. Hello. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was just like going into discussion and then I remembered I have to say hello to everyone first. Okay. Okay. We can keep going then.
Yeah.
You were saying 5 stars for you.
Yes, 5 stars. What was the question again?
What was your rating and what did you thought of the book?
Yeah, so I ultimately really gel with Angie Kim's writing, and I really appreciate the effort that she goes to with research and the themes that come up in her books. Both the books that I've read now have both had themes that are quite close to my heart in terms of like there's autism rep and there's sort of there's a lot of sort of talk around mental health and the effects on families and the way different families cope and things like that. So that's really important to me to read about, and I appreciated the way that she wrote about it. So yeah, so
Yeah,
that was my overall thoughts.
that's nice. I did give it 4 stars, only because, well, there's not a because really. I really like the representation. It's not the type of book that I normally read a
Right.
lot. It's not something that I would like alone pick up.
Mm.
So it was a very nice surprise for me. And I just think that what made me not give 5 stars was the fact that one of the characters really bothered me. I was not
Right.
vibing with her. Mia really bothered me the way that she in the beginning like felt about Eugene, because we know that Eugene has the autism. But
Mm.
let me just put, wait, it might have spoilers, so let me
Ah,
just put this.
good thinking.
Yeah. Um, uh, Eugene has autism and angel syndrome, and the way that the family was treating him in the beginning of this situation and how she was feeling, I do I understand because it's a hard situation. I was also like, I don't know if that's the way to go with like dealing a person with these type of needs.
Mm.
So that's the main character. And I also felt like a lot of the characters were not giving Eugene enough independence in a way, which I do
Yeah.
also understand when you have this type of disease that in the family, just like
Mm.
Eugene has. You tend to maybe treat stuff differently and
Yeah.
try to in a way deal with the situation the best you can because you are not going through that. But that's maybe because my experience, I don't have much experience with anyone that has autism
Mm.
or angel syndrome, so I really don't know how I would deal with it. I do have experience with kids with disabilities. When I was younger, a kid in my class, a girl in my class, had some type of disease that I don't know the English name of.
Right.
But it's not the same. But I just felt like, in a way, Eugene was being like not left enough to explore the world on his own,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I agree. Like I think it's very being in a family that has a lot of different needs. Um, there is that. So, for example, my son, who's 24, is on the
Mm-hmm.
autistic spectrum, and I look back now and I made some of the mistakes that were highlighted in this book in terms
Mm-hmm.
of like almost trying to think for them, and
Yeah.
in the attempt of advocating for him, I ended up overriding any of his individualness and thoughts and whatever. And obviously that's something that I've learned over the time, so hopefully I'm doing that differently with
Mm-hmm.
Isabel. But I think that point is really accurate. um, and I think it was like I think that's what I really appreciate, is that it shows obviously not every family that has different needs will experience things exactly the same, but
Yeah.
there is that element of where's the line where you're going too far, where you're
Yeah.
over caring, if you like.
Yeah. I think in a way that's what I felt, but I have never dealt with someone
um,
with this on the spectrum, so that might also be my way of seeing stuff. But Rainy does relate to Mia quite a lot, where she has a severely disabled brother, and honestly, it's difficult sometimes. Not saying I always did the best, but it felt a little realistic to me.
yeah.
Yeah, I think when you can relate to the situation, the book feels a little on the realistic side a bit too
Yeah,
much, especially if you have dealt with it in the past or you are dealing with it constantly. So
yeah.
I did think of that also. Also, I want to know, was there any DNFs in the chat? Did anyone not finish the book? What were your like thoughts? Because we had Katie and Jen joining us mid our conversation. So I want to know, did you finish? What did you thought of the book? Let us know. Yeah, said
Just jump in a little second,
yeah.
and just point out, like with Rainy, like I really appreciate that comment because,
Mhm.
and again, this is something that I really feel is important about this book is, and Rainy's comment is that we are all human and we're not, when you're in a situation constantly, like obviously your family is your family all of the time, not just some
Yeah.
time. There are going to be times where it is difficult, where we sorry, I'm sorry, I'm busy. Could you come back later, please? Later, please. Thank you. Thank you. So sorry. I'm in a hotel room, if you can't tell. My
Laura
house
is in
is not this
Portugal.
swanky.
Laura is in
I'm in
Portugal.
Portugal. Yeah, my house is not this swanky. Um, um, yeah, so I just think like it is really important to like give yourself a break because we do think mean things sometimes. We do feel stressed. We do misinterpret sometimes. That is like the human condition at the end of the
Yeah.
day. So
And I actually saw that a lot with Mia, actually, where she did like
mm,
times where she was like, "Oh, I just want you to go away. Like,
yeah,
I'm so tired of you. I'm so tired of all of our like family life be surrounded by you."
yeah,
But I think that's the thing when you have this type of it's not a disease really. You have this type of
no,
condition
mm,
where you need more attention from maybe your parents or the people that are surrounding you. You just have to be, if you are an outsider in a way, let's say a brother, sister, or whatever, it's hard. It's really hard. It must be really hard. And
yeah.
I think
And
it was,
I think it was like it's important to realize as well, like that there's a lot of joy, but there's also a lot of
mhm,
hard. All families have their challenges, right? So
yeah,
obviously, this is just one of the challenges that can be very impactful on a family group, you know, especially one that is effectively as close as they are.
yeah. Jen really liked the book, or better, she
Yay!
loved the book, which is amazing. Asparagus finished. Still not sure what my rating is. Okay. Enjoying it though. Some moments were hard to read with how Eugene was treated. Yeah, that's how I felt sometimes also. Once I picked up the book, I really picked up the book, but for me it was a bit hard to read some of the moments because it was hard for me to see like how this kid is able to express his emotions but he and express what he's feeling but has
Mm,
never had like a way because I think also that the family discarded the communication thing.
mm. Yeah,
And
the
this
communication
is
board.
yeah, the communication board too early, like I do understand, but like there's also this thing of trial and error in a way
Mm-hmm.
where you have to maybe try and figure out
Yeah.
who fits best for your needs and for what you need in a way. I don't
Mm.
know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does 100%. But I think again, like talking from a perspective of being in a family that has had to decide what therapies to use and
Hmm.
what are the right things that you have to balance between because it is very stressful for a child on the autistic spectrum, and I would assume on other spectrums also, to be in a situation where they can't function
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that they can't begin to function, that they won't learn to function in that, but you have to find that balance between what's going to cause more harm in the long run and what's going to. So trial and error is very important, to be open-minded, but
Yeah.
at the same time it's like, you and I can do trial and error and be like, okay, we can say for ourselves this isn't working, but a child that doesn't have verbal communication can't tell us that.
Yeah. That.
So you have to be able to be in tune with all of the other ways of communicating, and that child
Mhm.
specifically to know, okay, is it worth pushing through this difficult bit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Jen really like enjoyed the writing, like reading about how other families and cultures think and act. That's also interesting. Yeah, I think it was one of the things that made me like the book a lot more was because I was reading about something that I normally don't experience a lot. So
Mm,
it was interesting seeing how other families that have to deal with this type of conditions
mm,
act. It was quite interesting, and I think that's where my like frustration came on more about the situation with Eugene. Was like he knew what happened, but he did not have the way to express
mm,
because his family was not like the ones that were there did not know that he
yeah,
was capable to communicate. And that's the thing. Then after knowing uh, like the things in the bag with the boards and what Eugene actually did with like they said that he was going to try and hurt his mom. It was I see back and I was like, that's not what he meant. He was actually going to try and stab the board to try to speak to them. So
yeah,
that's how I saw that whole scenario with the police and the therapist developing, where I was like, I think you were a bit like in the situation with the context of what happened, I understand it. But then if you go further, you are like, he was just trying to communicate, honestly.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
But I think it was a really well written book. I actually thought it had like the research that Angie Kim did, but
Yeah.
I might be mistaken.
Um, I know in the author's note she talks about the research she did.
Yeah. Oh, I might have not read all of the author's note, so
Yeah, I think that's just where I got it
yeah.
from, the author's note.
Let's see a bit more of the comment. Landed on a 3.5, but might
Mm,
be to a 4. Just didn't like
ooh,
mystery being open-ended. I felt like that was a major part. Yeah, I was quite disappointed with the mystery aspect, honestly. I think it was interesting. It was an interesting book for the representation of the autistic spectrum and the angel syndrome and all of that. But then the mystery felt a bit like, it was it was a
yeah.
bit
It
disappointing.
wasn't really a mystery, was it, in the end?
Yeah, I
Because I
don't think.
think in the beginning you would have guessed that something like that would have happened
Yeah,
for
and
him to just disappear.
I can see how they are. The author also tried to make it a little bit more open for us to be like, I'm not so sure if the dead fell actually
Yeah,
or not. But then
yeah.
you are
'Cause
like,
where is the body?
yeah, where is the body? If the dead did not fell, where actually is the body? It does not make sense. For me, I just felt like the mystery aspect of it was a bit lacking than what I actually wanted. I was hoping something like because they went on with the thing about the wallet being in a completely different place than what where they were where the scene happened and all of that. So I was really expecting something more out of the mystery aspect than what we
Mm,
ended up with. Uh, Honestly, I think she did the representation really well. Yeah, I also think it was very interesting, and wanted closure. I think if we ended up with like knowing where the body is and where like more about the mystery, like getting I don't know. I just feel like the mystery was a bit lacking. For me, it was a book where something happened due to the kid being overwhelmed with stuff around him, and
Mm.
then this accident happened, and because he fell into the river, like, do you get what I mean? I think
Yeah,
I.
I think so. I think so. Um, yeah, I think, yeah, I,
Hmm.
I think
Also,
both definitely.
sorry,
So,
Kelsey also Kelsey also agrees with Rainy, enjoyed it and gave it a 4, but I wish the ending was wrapped up more with the mystery portion. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like the everything was sort of wrapped up nicely in terms of that overall that arc of
Eugene and the
the
family.
Dean and the connections between the remaining family. That was wrapped up really well.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, and I wonder actually, I might write that down as a question because I wonder if that was on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
You
Did
know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that. Yeah. It's interesting. Also, let's see. I think it because it started off very mystery based. It did. I also
Mm,
think it started like the proposition that what they were doing was really interesting, and I can see that. But it felt like a letdown at the end. Yeah, after the beginning, it went from mystery heavy to lit fic, which is a genre I love. But I still wanted more than the mystery part. Yeah, I do understand that, and I actually do agree with Kelsey on here. The beginning was very like, what actually happened? I am curious. I want to know. I want to this, that, and etc. But then, as the story progressed, you were like, the dad must have fell. Like something happened where the dad must have fell into the river, and
yeah, and we don't find out what happens to them teenage boys that were involved either.
yeah,
And I know that I'm not like I have the instinct that that's because in real life we probably would never know. They probably would never get held accountable. But still, it's
yeah,
frustrating.
yeah. It gets frustrating in a way. Yeah.
Mm,
Uh, Manda loved the open ending just because it
mm,
showed how intelligent Eugene really was. I mean,
yeah.
if he did it, why would he admit to it? Especially being he was only he was the only one who knew. Yeah, I do get it, and I see how the ending does portray Eugene as more like smarter than what the beginning was
Mm,
making him. The beginning was in a way making him a very like the way that the best word that I want is Pablo. The word that they and G Kim actually used
mm,
in the book, making him feel like very not silly but um, dumb
yeah.
character. And because then we discover that he actually is able to communicate and to talk and all of that, I think that demonstrates that Eugenie is actually very smart, and you shouldn't look down on people with these conditions
No.
because they do tend to be very smart. There's a really nice show, and I was while reading it, I was always remembering of the show, which is the Good Doctor, where the main character is a doctor or is trying to be
Yeah.
one, and he's on the spectrum of
Mm.
autism. And I was frequently reminded of this show while reading the book, actually.
Yeah, I agree. Like I see that 100%. But I think we have to be careful about that stereotype again because
Mm-hmm.
again, everyone's different. So,
Yeah,
and it depends on other factors too. Like some people with autism will also have learning difficulties, some won't. and it will be varying in each case. And this idea that autistic people are also savants is very rare. And yeah,
Yeah.
like when I think a lot of times when people want to be positive, they got lean towards the savant stereotype, when that's still just as damaging, because obviously that isn't necessarily, you've got to take each person on their own merits, not the idea of what they could be, you know.
Yeah.
I think it was really there was a moment where Mia's talking about how we as a society attach intelligence with our linguistic fluency. So,
Mhm.
however we can talk, if we can talk, that implies I'm really not sounding intelligent. See,
Yeah.
that connection is there.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's really like, that moment was a bit of a like, for me. Sorry, I'm talking way too much.
No, it's fine. It's the thing that you were saying. Like, I don't feel as confident talking about this book because the barrier linguistic that we
Right,
I
yeah.
might have, and especially because for me it was a very heavy book. And not
Mm,
normally. I just feel like I although I want to participate, I have this barrier in my mind, at least, that
mm.
I am not doing like good enough justice. But
Yeah,
that's, well,
you are.
the book is all about this, honestly.
Exactly.
And Jen also really said something that I was going to comment next, which was the dad's experiments, in a way, the
Mm,
happiness quotient. What did you think about that? I found them very, very interesting. How
yeah.
he was trying to, in a way, measure how happy you can be, or two
Yeah.
different people can be like in different situations, or not different but the same situation, depending also on the background that you are leading them up to. What did you think about that?
I really enjoyed them parts as well. Like, it sort of took me back to uni, and like thinking about all these like different things that affect outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. I did. There were some very uncomfortable moments, I think, when you think about like the effects of these experiments, if you like,
Yeah.
um, on family, when it's not sort of following any sort of psychological guidelines
Yeah.
and things like that. So
Yeah. Just saying hello to Michaela. How are you?
I,
I found that very interesting. Yeah, I really like them. I think they did bring a different like thing to the book, because the way that I saw it, first I also saw that Mia was a bit hurt by the
yeah,
experiments at first, but then I think the experiments did start to make sense to her in a
yeah,
way, because, well, I might be wrong here, but to me I think these experiments in a way were what was making the dad feel more accomplished in a way, because he did drop his life, he did
yeah,
drop his career to be a stay-at-home dad, which not everyone does. I think the dad here is also, to me, is not very spoken about, but that's normal because he's not there, right?
yeah,
But I also felt like the dad character was a character that we should highlight, because not every man would do what he actually did for his family, while
no,
seeing the mom getting a bit lost, getting a bit sadder, and then he actually took up the role of the stay at home dad and the one taking care of the kids. And honestly, I think for me, the experiments were a way uh, that he found to cope with the situation of being home, taking care of everything, taking care of Eugene frequently. And I also think found very interesting how he went. I only found it interesting because he was aware that the family was skeptical about the speech
mm,
therapy, so he did went behind them in a way. So I think he did that so the rest of the family would not be stressed, overwhelmed, and disappointed with the outcomes, I think.
yeah.
But I do see how someone can get hurt with these experiments because
Yeah.
some of them were a bit cruel, let's say it
Mhm.
like that. Not cruel, but cold. Like the one
Yeah.
from the movies, how he was leading Mia to a very like sad experience with the movies, and then John, if I'm not wrong, to a very like high experience with the
Mm.
movies. And then when they met, Mia and John in the middle, their happiness was very different because Mia was getting used to a very bad experience in the movies, and John was getting used to a really nice experience with the movies, you know?
Yeah. It's very
So,
interesting, but it's like you say, it's when you put the human element back in, it
yeah,
it's quite, you can understand the hurt and the frustration of
especially
finding out that you were the source of an experiment that you didn't even know about, you know.
especially then knowing what the dad was doing after he was not there, you
Mm.
know? If in a way he had told him he was doing this type of experiments, like uh, wait a second, I have to understand what I want to say. So if he was there to explain to them why he was doing them,
Mm.
what was the thing that he wanted with like these experiments, I think it would have been more like not as cruel, not as cold in a way.
Yeah.
But because he was not there, they can only like suppose how or why he was doing them. So I
Yeah.
think that's also something that came a bit like
Yeah. Definitely. Sorry, I was just checking that I hadn't had an email.
yeah, because Angie Kim was supposed to join us at like 3 minutes ago,
Yeah.
and we don't have yet any news from that. So
No.
we will hopefully wait and see if she can join us. At least she did say that she would be able to come.
Yes.
So, but other than that, let me see what I have here. Who was your favorite character actually from the book? Who did you really like and was like either like a second character of like one of the main characters, either mom, John, Mia, or even Eugene, or something like that?
Mm. Um, I don't know. I kind of liked Mia. I liked
Mm-hmm.
her tenacity and um, focus on trying to figure all these things out, and the fact that she noticed all these little things that I think a lot of people. Well, I'm thinking actually of myself, like how I am in a worrying situation, and
Yeah.
my skills for noticing the details diminish the more anxious I am. Um, so I really admired the fact that she could stay grounded in the moment
Mm-hmm.
now, and stay focused on what was actually happening around her. And I liked that it was a very honest. Um, she seemed like a very honest person. Like she told you the good and the bad, you know,
Yeah. So I think
without giving judgment.
my favorite character was a very like underdog character. He was
Right.
not there for a long time, and I really liked Vic. And no, don't ask me why.
Yeah.
I really like him mainly because like Mia was portraying him in a way that he was really like an a-hole to
Mm,
me. That's how I was seeing until he showed up.
yeah.
Honestly, I think when he showed up, that's where my brain was like, he's not that bad. He's actually sweet. And he was there. He actually tried to support Mia and her family with what was going on. So I really think that he was one of my favorite characters. I also really like the dad, although we don't know much about him. I really like how he was, in a way, portrayed as someone different, you know?
Mm.
He was not the stereotypical dad. Although he was American, I think, he actually adapted to having an half American and half Korean
Mm.
family and being in Korean for a little bit and all of that. And I'm like, okay, I actually like that. I like the experiments that he did, and I was like, okay, a man taking the step to be a stay-at-home dad. That's very interesting. You don't see that very often.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
Vic was my favorite one.
Yeah, I can totally see why. I can.
Yeah, I think it was very sweet,
Yeah.
and he knew the boundaries that he had to have. Where when they were on the meetings at home
Mm.
because they were quarantined, like not being there so people wouldn't suspect anything like too outrageous and all of that. I
Yeah.
actually did enjoy that quite much. I think the author did a good job of showing imperfect and realistic characters. Yeah, I also think
Mm.
so. Mia with how she handled the investigation, originally with being scared, feeling annoyed at times, etc. Yeah, I do see that. I think all of the characters did feel a bit on the realistic side, you know? I think if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
just not characters written in a book. You
Yeah.
could see something was there. They had feelings. They were going through some stuff. They were palpable in a way. What they
Mm.
were feeling.
Yeah.
Uh,
So,
I also like Vic. Yeah, I think it was the underdog of the book.
yeah, definitely.
I agree with Kelsey for sure. All the characters were written well and realistic. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, for sure. Agree with Kelsey. I liked Angela. Yeah, I also think
Yeah.
Angeli was the biggest like turnover of the book. Like
Yeah.
starting to not know who she was and how is she saying like we have to tell stuff
Mm.
to the family, to then when they went to her house they discovered that Eugene knew and the picture with the heart and all of that, and
Mm.
then they discovered wait, it's not like a side piece, it's actually she's working with Eugene on something here. I
Yeah.
really liked that evolution of this character. I think it was a very interesting one. For me, also, it was one of the most interesting
Mm.
character evolution, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think the last time we spoke about it, I was like, I hate Angeli.
Hmm. A lot of people were, I think, someone did comment after I had finished, and she was like, I think it was Elena, and she was like, "Who is this woman?
Yeah.
What is she? How? When? What does she want here?" And then I was like, "You get the answers later." I just did not want to like to write. Angela is the therapist for Eugene. So
Yeah.
yeah, people that do that work are so important, and she always believed in Eugene. I
Yeah.
think one of the things that made me like quickly forget that I did not like Angeli was the fact that how she believed Eugene was capable,
Um,
and I think we could see in a way from when Angeli full on Eugene therapist helper, not really helper. Would you say therapist? I think
yeah.
from her being like the unknown woman and then Eugene therapist, you know. Um, what was I saying? Oh my god.
Sorry, I probably distracted you there.
I think so. No, but it's fine. So I think let me try to go back and figure. Oh yeah, I think Angeli helped a lot when she full on entered the picture since being in the hospital with COVID or the
Mm.
possibility of it. She helped a lot, showing that Eugene was a lot more capable than what people actually thought of it. And I felt a really big switch when she entered the scene where people were just like talking with Eugene. Oh, don't. Eugene, how are you feeling? Like, no, once she entered the scene, I felt like people started to speak with Eugene like
Mm,
he was a 14-year-old. He could understand he was someone to take note of. He had
yeah,
stuff to say, he had important stuff to say. You shouldn't baby him. He's 14 years old. He's not a baby anymore. So
yeah,
you should really listen to him in a way.
yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. I liked her character. I was for a moment not remembering her, but I liked
Yeah,
the evolution that she had. I think it was one of the best ones, honestly.
I like that she turned out not to be a bad guy.
Yeah, I don't think the only bad characters that I see here, honestly, were those teenagers that took the
Yeah,
wallet. Because other than that, I think every single one of the characters had an important and distinct like role in here. I think Mia and John had very similar roles, but different at the same time.
yeah,
You know, Mia was the one that was like trying to understand the dad, or in the opposite, John was there for the mom. You know, in a way, because you could, for me, Mia was always like, oh, my dad stuff and all of that, and then you were like in a different way seeing John with the mom frequently trying to support her and all of that. I don't know if that does that make sense to
yeah. I think so. I think so because they're just completely different personalities. Like, and I
Mhm.
liked that they were twins.
Yeah.
Um, that it showed that they were still different personalities because I think, I mean, I haven't known a lot of twins in my life, but I know that the few that I have known, they've been like, even when they've been exactly the same looks wise, they've been so polar opposite personality wise.
I have so my best friend is a twin actually,
Mm.
but
Oh,
they are not identical. They are fr-
mm.
fraternal.
Fraternal? Yeah.
Yeah, they are very different, and if you
Mm.
don't know they are twins, you wouldn't like notice that.
Yeah.
But I did have, so they have very different personalities. Um, but I did met a twin set where they were identical and they were very different from each other. Was one was more like childish in a way,
Mm.
and the other one was more serious, but they also did have like stuff in common, which we can also see Mia and John having stuff in common, which
Yeah.
I just don't think it was as well, like it did not have a big emphasis
Yeah.
on as their differences, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Disabled people are so much more capable than what we think, and
Mm.
people like that either help or hang. Yeah, I think
Definitely.
Angeli was a nice character to, in a way, show how the first therapist did wrong, and then the one from that came with the police, the yeah, because the one that came with the investigator did nothing.
Oh, yeah.
So she just sat there and let people in a
Let you.
way have a go at Eugene, I think.
Mhm.
So I think Angeli was also a very nice representation of how when you find a good therapist, a good professional, you have the good results. You know.
100%. 100%. And I can see that in my own experience too, because um, for Cameron, it took me years and years and years. He was actually at secondary school, so he was just over 11 years old when he was finally diagnosed. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and from that point on, he got support. But by that point, his situation became a lot more complicated. He developed sort of anxiety disorder, and he'd made connections in the wrong sort of way. So like, for instance, he recognised anxiety as anger, so it would come out that way and things like that.
Yeah.
So it made the situation a lot more complicated. Whereas with Isabel, we were lucky enough to have good professionals early on. So we had diagnosis much sooner. We had therapies and everything in place, and she's doing fantastically well.
Yeah.
And so far, touch wood, we haven't had any further complicating factors. So it does make a big difference having that, because I think parents often get ignored, like, oh, they're just being overprotective, they're just, you know, they're just seeing things that aren't there,
Yeah.
worrying unnecessarily or whatever. But actually, parents' instincts are usually, they might not know the words to describe it. Like,
Yeah.
you might know that your child has autism, you might not know Angelman syndrome, for instance, but you know that there's something going on with your child, and that should be listened to, and then the professionals need to back that up. So it is really important, and I think that's another thing. Like, that was a really good point that Angie Kim brought that up in the book, that the professionals actually make a big difference, or can make a big difference.
Yeah.
Positively and negatively, as we saw.
Yeah. I am just going to ask here, did I actually send you the right link that you sent to Angie Kim?
I hope, I would assume so, because hang on, let me just, oh no,
I'm sorry, guys, friends. We were not expecting, like, at this time to not have the author here, because we did send her, like, not really a timetable, but in a way, a like thing.
like a down, yeah.
Yeah. Our plan.
Yes, it's the correct link.
Okay, great.
I will message her when we're finished, and just I will, obviously, because there's a few people that ask questions, I will make sure to pass them questions on, and then if she does get back to me, I will obviously pass that on. And maybe we can try and rearrange, maybe something's just, I'm assuming something's just come up, and she hasn't had an opportunity to let us know. So yeah, hopefully we can still get our questions answered. I know there's a few other people as well, but I've got a few too.
Yeah,
I just really need to ask.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I've seen terrible, truly awful things happen to my brother, and beautiful things as well from people like that. Yeah, that's where, like, when you me and Laura were actually talking about this yesterday, because I was going through some stuff with my therapist, which is a completely different thing. It's more to deal with my anxiety and all of that. But the last session that I had was not the best in a way. I felt like I have been, like, in a way, built this, like, a pyramid of cards, and then my therapist came, and instead of being happy and supportive with me and helping me understand my feelings, she simply blew that pyramid down, and then I was questioning myself and questioning my feelings. So I am like, would a different, like, therapist do the same thing, or would they validate my feelings and just, like, make me understand what I was feeling? So I do understand that the right person or the right therapist can do beautiful things for the right person, or for
just because a professional has a particular skill set, whether it be speech and language therapy, whether it be physical therapy, whatever, whether it's an advocate in a police place, for
or a
interviews,
lawyer.
Yeah, a lawyer, any of the, just because someone has that particular set of skills, it doesn't mean they also have the correct people skills for you as a person. Like, again, it's this idea that we don't all fit in the same box. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the same with people with different abilities. Um, we all just we all are individuals. It's the same with therapists of all types. We can't just it's unfair that we're in a situation, and I think this is probably quite a common situation. I know I can speak for this in the UK, but from the sounds of it, it's quite common in other countries too, that we get given this therapist, we get given this speech and language person, we get given this person, this professional that doesn't necessarily get you as a person or have the whatever it is about them to even want to get to know you as a person.
Yeah.
And it's like you were saying, your therapist is a good therapist, but are they the right therapist for you?
Yeah.
And question, you know. It was
For sure.
we had that. I had that with Isabel in terms of we had the first speech and language person we had for her said that she probably would never speak. So we quit on them and went private. We were lucky enough to be able to do that. And luckily we got someone that was absolutely amazing, clicked with Isabel straight away.
Mm-hmm.
We made, I mean, she's, you can't shut her up now. So it's, yeah, so it does
Yeah.
make a big difference.
It really depends a lot. And I think Angeli's character really shows that in comparison to the other like therapists that were represented in the book. The first one was awful. She was actually just commanding Eugene's hand. The second
Mm,
one did nothing, which was the one that came with the detective. And Angeli to me is the third one. And I think she did something really good, which
yeah,
was helping Eugene, believing in Eugene, and telling him actually, and his family. So in the beginning, his dad, and then the rest of the family, like, you cannot treat Eugene as anything less than a 14-year-old, a normal kid. He just has some difficulties understanding like general stuff in a way, or it's not even understanding, is speaking them, because that's the
yeah,
main thing with
to
you is
get the thoughts out of your head, like
yeah, exactly. And we
communication.
we also have Donna here.
Hello.
Hello, Donna. Bad headache today, but when I get to finish, I'll be back to rewatch this. Oh, amazing. And then feel better, and thank you. Also, I during when we were speaking, I had a thing, a
Yeah.
thought. Why did you think the book was? Because this was one of the questions that I wanted to ask Angie, but
Mm.
now I'll ask you. Why did you think the book was written in a way, feeling like it was told in the past? Let me see
Mm.
what I wrote on the thing. So we can see that the book is a past story, almost like a retelling of what happened. Why do you think that Mia decides to make it a letter? The book, the whole situation, a letter to her dad.
That's an interesting question.
We can only assume
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. I mean, I might just going by having read Miracle Creek and now this,
Mm-hmm.
it seems to be a bit of um a style almost of Angie Kim's writing in terms of
Oh,
like maybe it's easier to work backwards and she's coming up with these concepts, maybe. I don't know.
that's interesting. Yeah, I was just like, maybe it was Mia's way to connect with
Mm.
the father one last time,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I do remember something about the book ending where they wanted to go for the 100th day, to the place where the dead fell and all of that to, in a way, make like a ceremony
Mm.
almost. So my question is actually not my question. So my thought was, and the book says that Mia stays there for a while alone. So
Mm.
that's why I assume, in a way, that it was her trying to connect with Dad, actually.
Mm.
So it was like her way for one last time to be alone with her dad, telling the story, what happened, what they were feeling, or better, what she was feeling, what the discoveries of the experiment made her feel, and all of that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think that makes more sense actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I guess it's like that whole grief process that you have to go through, even though I mean, they know he's dead, but they don't know he's dead. Like, you
Yeah.
know, um, but I guess they've had to just find that way of um, grieving still,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I think and I think a lot of people probably write letters to their loved ones that have passed.
Yeah.
Uh,
I have, so this is nothing in the same way, but I have a journal. In one of my oldest ones, I did write a letter to my oldest self,
yeah,
just like, or to my future self, in a
yeah,
way, telling like you are capable, you can do stuff,
yeah,
in a way. So just a way for my either present self to acknowledge my past self, or in a
mm,
way for my future self then to acknowledge what my past self was
yeah. Same,
saying.
same.
um,
I think it's a quite a good thing to do for yourself,
yeah.
to be able to do that, because I think it's easy for us to forget in the whirlwind of life that you know, things happen and then we lose our confidence, or you know, whatever. It's good to hear it. I think we hearing it from ourselves, reading it
Mm-hmm.
from ourselves, kind of hits home
Yeah.
a little bit in a way that hearing it from others doesn't. Like, it's not to say that you shouldn't hear it from other people too, but it's like it's got a different effect, doesn't it?
Yeah.
um
And then she just burned it, just like, just
yeah,
a way to end like a chapter. She burned the letter and threw it in the water where the dad is. So I
yeah,
think I think it was quite interesting how in the end, because I made this question when I was like halfway through, and then I got a little bit of the answers that I needed in the end. But I was like, that's quite interesting how she, to let go, she needed to write what happened in a
mhm,
way. Um,
yeah.
But Miracle Creek, after I read this one, but haven't read it yet. Amazing. Oh,
Let us know. Let us know how you get on with it. I'd love to chat to you about it.
you
Guys,
went away for a little bit, Laura.
so did you, but we're back.
Oh, yeah.
um, but yeah, let us know how you get on with
Mm-hmm.
that one, because I'd love to
Yeah,
have your thoughts on
for
it.
sure.
I think
Okay.
actually, I don't know which one I prefer. I think I prefer Miracle Creek over this.
That's interesting.
Yeah, just because I
Will.
felt like there was a little bit more of a mystery with
Oh.
that one.
So is Miracle Creek the debut novel?
Yes, I think so. Hang on, let me just double check that.
Yeah, I will keep on going if you don't mind. Hello, Christina. How are you? Thank you so much for being here. Um, Okay, let's see here. When Mia was up on the cliff, I was honestly expecting her to find something implicating what Eugene said
Mm,
was either right or wrong. I had that feeling the whole time. Honestly, I was thinking something like that too. Like how she, in a way, spent so much time there, but like also what? Because in a way, we had so much like search parties, we had a lot of things going on. So I was like, that's quite interesting. I hope that would have happened. So I
mm,
was like, That could have either end the story more interestingly or making us go like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Why? Why did
Why are
we
you
didn't?
hanging like this?
Yeah, I think if that happened, the mystery aspect would have been more shocking and interesting and kept us a little bit more on our toes in a way.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Interested in reading Miracle Creek now because of this. Oh, nice. Me too, Amanda. I was also expecting in the last few pages for something shocking to come up and just leave the book on that note. But nope, yeah. I
Mm.
think if something shocking had happened, we would have had like a completely different, maybe, feedback, you
Yeah.
know? Because if it had like something shocking happen, we would all be like, "What? What? You know?"
Yeah. But I think that's I don't know, like I feel like, is it actually labelled a thriller?
Oh, let me check.
Oh no, it's not. See, I had it in my head that it was labelled a thriller, but it's not. It's contemporary literary mystery.
Oh,
So
okay.
actually, that is because I was about to say, I think maybe it's been like miss,
Mislabeled.
yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, it hasn't. That's me mislabeling it myself.
Mhm. Then it makes a little bit more sense. Why is not so heavy on the mystery, but
Yeah.
still, it was very heavy in the beginning. So I think
Mhm.
that's why I was also expecting a little bit more heavy in the
Yeah.
end or
Mir-
throughout the whole book.
yeah. Miracle Creek is her
Oh,
debut novel.
awesome.
So
Oh, and this is also very interesting. The fantastical element, I was not expecting that, you know, especially when then Eugene was telling like exactly word to word what Mia and I think it was both of them, Mia and John, were
yeah,
imagining, you know? So I was
yeah,
like, okay, that's interesting. For a moment there, I was like, magical realism? But
yeah.
then I was like, it was just such a like little
Moment, yeah.
moment that I was like, no, it's not.
But I
But
think, that's kind of, I mean, I think it was a fun thing to put in for us to,
mhm,
but also I feel like that's quite realistic in terms of like, I try and put myself in that situation of having someone missing. And I think that's what our brains do when we can't find like the logical answers, we fill the gaps ourselves.
yeah.
And then we end up with quite fantastical
But
stuff, don't
it
we?
was such like odd. It was, it was not odd, but it was like unexpected in a
Mm,
way for them to be able to tell like word to word almost what actually happened, you
mm,
know, in like a make believe story kind of thing. So I was like quite, oh, they did tell this story to Eugene, and
mm,
how worried actually Mia was with Vic being there and Vic
mm.
being the one that would go to the detective and telling like, look, this did not happen.
Yeah,
They told this to Eugene last night or something like this. So I was like, I don't see Vic being that type of character because
no,
I was liking him a lot at this point,
yeah,
and I was like, I hope not. But in the end, he didn't, and I think that's what made it turned the book interesting, but not like for me for a 5 star.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think I can, like, how sometimes we will give a book 5 stars and then we find it really difficult to understand if someone doesn't have the same opinion, right?
Yeah.
With this, I feel like it's, I don't know, like, I mean, obviously I gave it a 5 star and I really love Angie Kim's writing,
Mm-hmm.
but I like, it's kind, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, I don't know, it's a little bit more objective. Like, I'm not like emotionally attached to it.
Yeah.
if that makes sense. It's more of a, I get what this piece of writing is trying to do. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So I think that
yeah. I
I
think
don't
I
know,
get it.
I like that.
Yeah, that's yeah, I get that.
Sorry, I
um,
when I really enjoy something, I tend to overthink it.
oh no, don't worry.
Can't
Uh,
already tell.
mislabeled it myself as well,
Mm.
but I honestly didn't look into the book first, but just because I like going into mysteries without knowing much. Yeah, that's me. Like, I got a few mysteries yesterday. I got Truly Devious and Ace of Spades, which I don't know much about. I know a little bit about Ace of Spades, but it's not a focus because only we met Farida yesterday. So and that's it. I also don't know. I also like to go blind into books. That's what I meant.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Uh, I gave it 4.5, but I understand why people would rate it lower. It was
Yeah.
so good in the moment, but not necessarily a favorite. Yeah, I think that's why I did not give it a 5 star because I was really enjoying it. Like the representation, getting to know more about this condition, and
Mm.
even one condition that I don't know about, and like special angel syndrome and all of that. But I am like, it was just a moment. I have not thought about the book a lot since finishing it. So for
Yeah.
me, it wouldn't make sense to give it a 5 star.
Yeah. Well, I only finished it this morning, so I can't.
Yeah,
I
but
can't say the same, but
it's still fine.
yeah. I would
uh,
be interested in anyone that decides to read Miracle Creek, or maybe already have,
mhm.
how they feel like comparatively, how they feel they differ,
Yeah,
because I feel like they've got a lot of key themes the same, but for me, Miracle Creek is slightly more.
mystery.
Yeah, like I think about it more than I think I'll think about this, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. I mean,
it
obviously it's a
does.
guess with this, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, let's see. I think this was a great discussion. Oh my God, thank you so much. I was very nervous. I did not know like what was going to happen. And
Yeah.
I did enjoy this one. Amazing. It's excited to continue on. We'll see if I get to Inkblood see subscribe while doing Amazing Reader. I don't have the book yet, but I am also like, I hope I can fit it somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what I hope so.
I'm going to be so gutted if I can't use it for Amazing.
Yeah. Especially because I don't know if I can read it separately from my books for Amazing. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh
I think,
God.
I think I probably can, just
Yeah,
because I know if I set time aside, I can blitz
yeah,
read, which I know not everyone likes to do or can do for, whatever reasons.
yeah,
I know I can do that if I need to, but at the same time, I would quite like to use it for Amazing, even though
yeah.
I want to use sci-fi and that's a fantasy. But
Me and Rainy can use it for our team, so we are
yeah,
fine. I already have Inkbloods is subscribed from the library, so I'm excited to get to that one. I need to take notes while reading, so I have more. That's what I also think I need to do to take a little bit more notes, especially because Inkbloods is subscribed is a fantasy book, so the topics will differently
yeah,
be a bit different. So I'm quite interested on that one to
yeah,
see how like the live discussion is going, and
yeah,
especially because my picks I think are all fantasy forward. So i
mm,
think I think like having different genres is also good, but like I am trying to put
yeah.
my
You're a
voice.
fantasy person. I'm
Yeah.
a bit an all
um,
over the place person, just like my personality.
This was a great pick. Oh, amazing. That I'm
Thanks.
very happy that you all liked it. Like really
Yeah,
great live show, such a good discussion. Also, I
I,
want to say like thank you because I know everyone was expecting Angie Kim to be here. Not really thank you, but sorry.
yeah,
Uh, we were expecting her to be here, and I'm like, a bit disappointed that she
Yeah,
isn't,
I'm
but
very.
we will try our best to either come up with another time to do another like little
Mm,
moment like this to have Angie live so she can come up and we can talk a little bit more with her and all of that,
mm.
or just try to get her answers like either
Yeah,
written down or maybe she can do a video with us and we
yeah,
can like ask her film and then share it on the Discord.
yeah.
That might also.
We'll ask the questions, and
Mhm.
hopefully we'll bring it
So
back round. Uh,
yeah.
it's just
So
a shame. I feel really guilty because I sort of I didn't plan to ask Angie Kim to come on. She just sort of offered on when I mentioned on Instagram, and so I feel really guilty that I've like hyped everyone up for it.
no, it's
But
fine.
hopefully, between me and Beatrice,
Yeah.
we've had a good discussion, and like
We
we've
we
figured out most of our answers.
we might also give you a little thing here because we met Farida yesterday. We also talked with her agent here from a Portuguese publisher.
Mm.
So if we end up reading one of her books on our book club, we might try to get in contact with her agent from
Yeah,
here from like the Portuguese publisher and try to get her on the live, but we
mm.
cannot promise anything.
No,
It's just a
we'll try.
possibility. Yeah, we'll try, but it's just really a
God
possibility.
loves a trier, as my
Yeah,
mum says.
exactly.
Good.
I read in Blood Sister Scribe last year and really enjoyed it. I don't know if I'll remember anything, but I'll join the discussion.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
well, yes, we can. I've already submitted two sightseeing books.
Nice.
I am reading A Court of Silver Flames for the first leg. I'm not even halfway through because I was not feeling the first book that I picked. So I was like, I
Mm.
can't physically do this. I know if I do push myself, I go into a slump. So since I had already started A Court of Silver Flames, it worked. My mom got it to me. So
At
I
least
just
I think you'll really enjoy that one as well. So,
I am. I'm quite happy with this pick, so I'm
mm,
quite happy with this book.
yeah.
Go fantasy, yes. the This book is great for footnote one, so I'm glad I read over 50. Yeah, that's amazing. I
Oh,
don't know if
yeah.
I'll get to sightseeing prompts because my books are quite chunky,
Oh,
but I'll leave through all of you to read the
yeah.
sightseeing ones. Now I gotta get ready for my book club first discussion today. Oh, I'm quite excited.
Yeah.
I'm quite sad that I was not able to read the book. You have no idea.
Yeah, I didn't get time to,
I
but I
for me it
really
was not
wanted
even
to.
for me it was not even the time. I had the audiobook, but because I think it's a high fantasy, I was
Mm,
getting quite lost.
mm.
So I made the decision to
Come back to it.
come back to it later when
Mm.
I can get the physical book. But
Yeah,
if that happens soon, I will let you know my thoughts on
yeah.
the Discord and all of that.
We'll
Uh,
definitely pop over and show our love though.
yeah, don't feel bad. It's not your fault, and we had a great discussion anyway. Thank you so much, Rainy, and for supporting like our
Yeah,
little book club. Just hope
yeah, we
everything
really
is all
appreciate.
right with Angie. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I hope so.
I chose a
But
short
she
book.
doesn't seem like I don't know her, but she doesn't seem like the type of person to not show for just no reason.
Yeah, we just hope everything is okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I chose a short book. That time I got drunk and saved the demon, and I did not like. Oh
Oh
no!
no.
I think I saw something today in your Instagram.
Mm,
I'm about halfway through my first read for the Amazing Readathon. Oh, quite nice. Me too, Amanda. Hello, Elena again. Just joined. I agree with the majority discussed.
mm,
Dissatisfied with the history by the end. Realistic characters. I actually quite like The Mother. I rated 40
mm.
stars and I'm happy I read it. Oh, that's quite nice.
Oh, good.
You can always join us this month.
Mm,
We are reading a Rapunzel retelling. Okay, I will
yeah,
try to see if I can get the book. But let's see. Maybe, yeah, I'll try to see. But I will try. to When the Moon Hatched, for sure.
Yeah,
Some.
I'm definitely going to read that at some point. I
Mm-hmm.
don't
Yeah.
know when I'm going to be able to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, like, this month I've very much, because of Amazing, I've gone in very, like, I've got a massive pile of possibilities and I'm not deciding, not like trying to get to all of them. I'm just going to, read for the
Mm-hmm.
readathon. And then I've got a couple of I have to's for book clubs. But
Yeah.
last month it was ridiculous. I think I had like 43 books on my TBR for last month.
Ooh, were you not doing the Kindle Mayhem one?
Yes, I was doing the Kindle Mayhem and I was doing Readathon. And then somehow I managed to get like, I think it was like 12 have to reads for like book clubs and
Oh.
whatever's. And I didn't get all of the have to reads done
Oh, okay.
because I stupidly thought I had time and I didn't. So,
Let's see. Also, no worries, Beatrice. It was pretty in depth, and if I hadn't read physically, I'd have been lost too. Yeah, I started on my like 4 hour ride when I did last month, and I was hoping I could have finished it like by the time that I was coming back. But then I was like, I am so focused on driving, not making an
yeah,
accident while driving, that I got a few things, but then I got lost by the end of it
yeah,
and just decided to, okay, best decision, try to get the book. But the book
yeah,
is like 24 something euros here in Portugal. So I'm like, I have to keep to make my mind to get it.
yeah,
Let's see. Because I probably would not have picked it up just based on the description. I love all the representation and how well researched it felt. Yeah, I think we all I think we agree on that one. It felt really well researched that she and Kim did her like her part as an author and researching by with talking about this kind of topic really well. I really liked it. I hope I can read more of Angie Kim, and I'm quite happy that you all like this pick.
yeah.
So I
And
hope that
I obviously am disappointed that Angie Kim didn't make
yeah,
it, but I have thoroughly enjoyed talking with everyone. And
yeah, for
yeah, I
sure.
got a really good group, so I really appreciate all of you. So
Yeah, what Laura said, I totally agree. And we hope Donna can be here for the next discussion. So I don't think anyone has anything more to say. We have been here for 1 hour and something more. So I think we'll end up here. But if oh wait, my comments jumped. Oh
oh
my god. uh, let's see. Also love the author's note at the end and the reason she felt the need to tell this story. Oh, I did
yeah,
not read the author's note.
I don't always read authors' notes, but I do when it's something like this. It's got a representation that I
Mhm.
really appreciate. I always read the author's note, and I think I read it specifically this time because I thought, well, actually, I don't want to end up asking her a question that she's
Why?
technically answered.
Yeah,
Um,
I should
so,
have read the author's note.
so it
Well,
is actually a really good author's note. Sometimes I find them a bit boring, but this
yeah,
one's actually quite a good one.
I'll make sure I read it next. Oh god. Okay, friends, thank you so much for being here and joining us in this first month of the Sibs Book Club. I am very, very, very thankful of you all, and I think Laura and Donna also are. I'm here speaking for the three of us right now, and if you have something you want to add, so since we couldn't get Angie Kim here today, uh, in a way we kind of closed the questions, but if you have more questions you want to add, like if you have finished the book since like today, like in the next days or something, until
Yeah,
we try to contact Angie Kim again, feel free to leave your questions in the Discord. I will try to update the description, but also in one of our channels the Discord is there. So I'm quite happy that you all enjoyed. I'm quite happy that you all have
yeah,
been here. And I think we will see you anywhere in the internet.
yeah.
So, bye, friends.
Bye.
Have a nice day.